If it were as they say, you'd be immensely rich, sitting on the beach, having a drink. If following the rules led to success, you'd have it. Be honest and polite, respect your neighbor, and you will be respected, right? No, it's not right at all. Following the rules, when those above you don't care about them, well, it doesn't lead to success. It leads to staying where you are and watching people with half your talent and a fraction of your integrity rise higher and higher, while you remain stagnant, waiting for a reward that never comes. You've been deceived. The world does not reward honesty, courtesy, or justice. Like you, I love honesty. I adore fairness. I smile at everyone, and I can't, even if I try, be rude. I can't help it. I like being this way, and I'm happy being who I am. But I also know that this attitude is misinterpreted most of the time. I've seen it firsthand. Are you polite? People interpret it as, he's weak. Are you fair? People interpret it as, I can cheat him. Are you honest? People still interpret it as, I can cheat him. If you're like me, this video will be a bit of a blow for you too. But it's something we have to face. Because if we don't want to change what we consider our strengths, if we want to remain who we are, well, we have to recalibrate ourselves, or we'll continue to be doormats for the soles of their shoes. Here are the 7 rules to burn, along with the truths the elite use to maintain power. We won't speak abstractly, but as is our custom, with historical examples, myths, and realities. If you're willing to tolerate the truth, here you'll find the code to turn the tables and reclaim your power. The first trap is the idolatry of truth. They say transparency builds trust, but in the world of power, unfiltered truth doesn't liberate, it imprisons. A truth revealed to the wrong person becomes a weapon against you. Your ideas expressed too hastily can be stolen. Excessive honesty makes you predictable and therefore vulnerable. Authenticity doesn't mean revealing everything, but rather choosing what to show. Information should be treated like valuable currency. Remember, a man's life is often linked to the thread of a piece of information. Those who talk too much in the hope of being accepted end up being deceived. There are 3 kinds of truth: moral truth for the conscience, social truth for appearances, and strategic truth for power. The third is the one that sets you free. The second rule you have to burn is conformity. From a young age, you're taught not to stand out, not to step out of line, to be normal. They tell you it's about belonging, but in reality, it's submission. When you fit perfectly into the crowd, you become a replaceable cog in the social machine. Society praises conformists because they maintain order. But order isn't freedom, it's control. The system doesn't want thinkers, it wants copies. Conformity crushes those who think for themselves. Look at Galileo. He saw a truth that shattered the certainties of his time, but the church demanded obedience. To save himself, he was forced to renounce his ideas. But according to legend, he whispered, and yet it moves. It wasn't cowardice, it was a strategy to save his own skin. He was right. A dead martyr doesn't change the system. A living man who, when he must, feigns conformity while in reality, continuing to think for himself, is far more dangerous to those in power. Machiavelli understood that social stability is based on the suppression of differences. The man who thinks alone threatens the structure. The obedient man maintains it. That is why mediocrity is the norm, not only due to a lack of intelligence, but above all due to a lack of courage. People don't reason, they imitate. And when they encounter someone who rejects the script, they attack him because his freedom exposes his own surrender. However, every empire, every revolution began with someone who didn't fit in. Power begins when you lose the fear of walking alone. Being free means accepting that many will never understand you. Your goal isn't to please everyone. You're not like Nutella, are you? Third rule not to follow, false humility. You're told to keep your feet on the ground, not to be arrogant, to always be modest. Humility is sold as an absolute virtue, but it's often just fear disguised as nobility. The world loves humility because it silences the capable and protects the comfort of the mediocre. Those who know a lot but pretend to be little reassure those who lack the courage to grow. Consider Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. After the assassination of Julius Caesar, the word king was poison. Augustus seized total control of the armies and the laws, yet styled himself Princeps, the first citizen. He lived in a modest house and dressed like an ordinary senator. He appeared humble, but ruled like an absolute sovereign. That wasn't true modesty. It was a strategic mask that disarmed his enemies. Here's the lesson. The true weapon isn't humility that diminishes you, but humility that makes you invisible until you're ready to strike. When you start winning, they'll tell you not to be arrogant. They ostensibly protect your soul, but in reality, they're protecting their fragile egos. Your confidence reminds them of what they weren't. Machiavelli teaches that a leader must appear virtuous, but genuine, sustained humility attracts predators. Humility should be armor, not a cage. It serves to disarm envy, not extinguish your greatness. There's a vast difference between arrogance and awareness of one's own power. The arrogant need to constantly show off. The self-aware choose when to dominate and when to step back. In work and in life, those who bow their heads too low end up being trampled. Those who know their own worth decide when to bow and when to stand tall. True strategic humility lies in appearing harmless while inside you're razor sharp. You can speak politely, but you must think like a predator. Let them underestimate you. That's one of your greatest advantages. Use humility as a shield, not a chain. Show modesty when it suits you, but never inwardly diminish the scope of your ambition. You are human and therefore divine. The fourth rule that demands docility is indiscriminate kindness. You are taught to please everyone, to avoid conflict, to always be kind. But those who try to be loved by everyone end up being ignored by no one. Being too kind means constantly saying yes, even when it doesn't make sense. It means allowing others to use your kindness as a doormat. Society celebrates your kindness, not to protect it, but to exploit it. Excessive kindness is interpreted as weakness. People respect those who know how to be kind, but within limits. Machiavelli teaches that true virtue and power is selectivity, knowing when to be fair, but severe when necessary. Those who are always accommodating become invisible and dispensable. Setting boundaries is what distinguishes respect from exploitation. Kindness is a gift, not a duty. Those who always want you to be soft aren't looking out for your best interests. They want you to give in. Learn to say no without giving explanations. The fifth rule you must trample is passive patience. You're told that everything comes in its own time, that you have to wait for the opportune moment. But often, patience is just a social hypnotic that turns potential into resignation. While you wait for the perfect conditions, someone less capable than you takes what you wanted. Winners don't wait for a door to open, they break it down. Fortune favors those who move, not those who stand still waiting for a miracle. Waiting unprepared is resignation. Waiting while you sharpen your weapons is strategy. Machiavelli considered patience useful only when it was an act of deception. But if you remain still, you're losing ground. Every second of doubt is a dying possibility. Don't ask permission to exist. Your moment doesn't arrive on its own. It begins when you decide to act. The world doesn't belong to those who deserve, but to those who conquer. Those who wait, however, remain stagnant forever. The sixth rule that must be burned immediately is blind loyalty. Loyalty without reciprocity is self-destruction. The system demands devotion to bosses, companies, and organizations that will abandon you at the first sign of inefficiency. Institutions, like our state, have no heart, only self-interest. Machiavelli knew that alliances are valid as long as they benefit both parties. Remaining loyal to those who are not reciprocal means choosing to be an expendable pawn. Your loyalty must be earned, never demanded. True loyalty must be a living pact based on respect, mutual support, and growth. When a relationship becomes one-sided, loyalty becomes a chain. Don't go down with someone else's ship if you're not at the helm. Changing course isn't betrayal, it's self-defense. First, you must be loyal to yourself, to your values, to your vision. Loyalty from others isn't demanded, it's inspired. And when it's lacking, you walk away without looking back. The seventh and final lie is the obsessive pursuit of happiness. They tell you that life has only one purpose, to be happy, and we all agree, of course. But the happiness they sell is just comfort disguised as purpose, and comfort kills ambition. If you're comfortable, you don't change anything. No one made history by chasing only pleasure. Greatness is born from conflict, discipline, and the soul-tempering effort. Those who seek only an easy life abandon everything. Society wants you to be distracted, entertained, sitting in front of a screen, while the powerful build their empires. Pain is not an enemy. It is a sign of growth. The true goal is not to be jubilant every minute, but to be free, sovereign, master of your own mind. By the time you get here, most people have already stopped listening. I know this from the data, without a doubt. But you're still here, where only a few arrive. You hold in your hands the rarest and most coveted gift of this century, attention. Those who stay until the end aren't spectators, they're protagonists. The awareness you now possess is a weapon, but a useless weapon if it remains sheathed. Knowing the truth and not acting is worse than ignorance. Now that you've seen the strings that pull the world, the only question is, what will you do? Will you retreat to the fold and pretend you didn't see them? Or will you start cutting them one by one? Freedom isn't a prize, it's an achievement. If you've understood the game, you're no longer a puppet, you're the one pulling the strings. From now on, your goal isn't just to be good, but to be strong. Not to be accepted, but to be unstoppable. Your new life begins now. Your reign begins here. If you'd like, we can meet in the comments. It will be a show of gratitude to the video creators and a signal to the algorithm.